What's up, guys? Adam Park here, and today I want to share with you guys a story from long ago. I want to share with you guys a story from Trial of the Grand Crusader, specifically when it was current content, when my guild was clearing content in it. I want to drop on you guys a little bit of military, specifically Marine Corps, information and knowledge, and by the end of this video, I want you, my fellow raid leaders, to take away a very specific lesson and keep it in the back of your mind when you are assigning duties and responsibilities to various people within your raid group, your composition. So let's first start off with the Trial of the Grand Crusader story, and that is this. If you guys have never done Trial of the Grand Crusader, specifically the last boss, Anub'arak, or if you have forgotten it, or even if you have, I'm going to explain it anyways. So the way the final boss works, and I'm a very broad stroke, if I miss any intricacies, please don't blast me in the comment section below. But the way the encounter works is you start off the fight with Anub'arak being in the center, various debuffs and things to dodge and all that. There is a certain point where the boss Anub'arak will burrow underground. He chases people, whatever, does massive damage or instantly kills them. I don't really remember. But during that time where everybody's running and you're dodging things and everything else is going on, now you get little Nerubian ads that start to pop up from various locations. So when the guild was clearing the content, I was tanking, I want to say on my Death Knight. Now, if you guys remember old school Death Knights, especially Trial of the Grand Crusader and Ulduar, having Death and Decay where you can throw it in one location, and I imagine, it's the same now. It was very easy to pick up ads. I had a fellow tank that she played a Bear Druid, or I guess now a Guardian Druid, but she played at the time, it was Feral way back when, and she, before we dropped down, you fall underground, the Lich King comes out, and, surprise, every week. Before we engaged the boss, she whispers me, and she says, hey, look, I don't want to do the ads. Your Death Knight, way easier for you to pick them up. You can throw Death and Decay in spot A, you can be in spot B and Blood Boil, or, whatever, and you're golden. So we drop down and I give assignments, here is who's going to be doing this, who's going to be doing that. Also, I'll have the boss, you pick up the ads. So let's transition over to a little bit of military, specifically Marine Corps history or knowledge rather, because I want to tie these two events together. When I share with you guys a lot of the stories of things that happened to me in the Marine Corps, generally I am sharing with you stories of when I was with the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit, or 15th MU. This was a very interesting time in my life. I had finished one deployment in Fallujah, and I knew I was going to deploy at least one more time before my active service was up. And I moved to the 15th MU, and the 15th MU was most definitely where I grew as a Marine, as a leader, as a man, as a person, in my job. There's just so many ways in which I grew. And the reason for that is the MUs are set up to be very small. And when I say small in the military sense, 1,000 people. And you are, and this is total like 1,100 people. But your unit could be, my platoon was 8 people, 10 people, including our staff sergeant and our captain, 10 people. So very small, intricate, very cozy units. And, there's a billion different stories I can tell you about that. But one of the things that our commanding officer wanted to do was he wanted to send the entire battalion to cold weather training in Bridgeport, California. And he did so. We figured and he assumed that we were going to deploy somewhere in Afghanistan. The war in Iraq had kind of, I don't want to say simmered down, but Afghanistan was the new hotness when it came to deploying Marines. And this was about 2005, 2006 timeframe. And he wanted to send us there, assuming, and, kind of an educated guess that, this was the place where we needed to make sure that we trained, because there's a mountainous regions and it's cold and the air's different, and it's somewhere where you don't want to be caught in a situation where you have no clue what to do. Especially in the mountains of Afghanistan, you don't want to do that. And we did the cold weather training where it was freezing cold every day for like a month. And, we learned all kinds of different things and, how to do this and that and the other every day for a month. And it was freezing cold, -4, -10, -20 degrees outside, 10,000 feet in the air of the Sierra Nevada mountains. And it sucked. And after we were done and, a little bit of time had passed, a few months, the Marine Corps told us that we were going to Iraq. We weren't going to Afghanistan. So all of the training that we did was for nothing. So the reason why these two stories tie in together is because when I told the raid, here is who's going to pick up the main boss, myself, and who's going to pick up the ads, her, the reason why I did it wasn't to be a dick. It wasn't to be a jerk. It wasn't, because she said anything. It was because if you are uncomfortable in a situation, you need practice. You need time in that situation. Think about it as a raider. I've talked about this before, especially during the Hellfire High Council fight, which we don't care about Hellfire anymore. But, that fight on Mythic difficulty is one where the math just adds up to where you as a raider are probably going to get picked several times in that fight to handle I'm trying to remember the name of it, the debuff mechanic where, I don't remember the name of it, but the purple crap on the ground, where you're probably several times going to have to handle that. So you need to be ready. You need to be in a state where you understand what's going on. And the same applies when you are in a situation where it's going to be hard for you as a bear tank to pick up ads in spot A and spot B when they drop at the same time. But if you're uncomfortable doing that, that's all the more reason that I'm going to put you in that situation. And that's something that I follow. And that's something that I suggest you, my fellow raid leaders, follow, is don't let your raid fall into this situation where Steve always does this one mechanic. And I hate to harp on Hellfire, but, until the 20th, I don't have any new raids to share with you guys. Until Emerald Nightmare comes out and, I get some experience on it in a live server environment. You look at something like Zolorak, where you can do specific things to get rid of the black holes. Great example are black holes. For those of you that don't know, black holes drop during phase 2 of Zolorak until you kill the big Void Walker. However, you can either get several people to collapse in on the black holes and equally share damage, or you can kind of game the system, use deterrence for hunters, use cheat death, use cloak of shadows, use ice block, etc., and game the system. But what if your hunter is off for the night? What if his computer breaks? What if, any number of things happen to where you don't have the ability to call on Steve the hunter to do this one mechanic? Now you're in a shitty spot where you have no one to do it. No one has experience doing it. And holy crap, that is not a situation you want to find yourself in, where nobody knows how to do mechanic, and now you got to put a fresh body on that mechanic. Instead, what you should be doing is putting yourself in a situation where you have the expert that has done it a few times and the backup there together, so that you can go, okay, do I hit deterrence first and then go in the black hole? Or do I go in the black hole and then hit deterrence? Because I can tell you, when I played the hunter, if you hit deterrence before you go in the black hole, you're golden. If you hit it afterwards, you risk the definite possibility of killing yourself. when it comes to heroic and mythic Zolrath. So if you are setting up responsibilities and you're telling person A is going to handle this situation, person B is going to be handling that situation, don't make it so that every week the same dude or the same person is handling the same responsibility. Don't do that, because inevitably something's going to happen to where that person can't log on, and you've put yourself in a situation where you got to start back from scratch and you have no one to help you explain what's going on. And so you have to go to Wowhead, or you have to go to Icy Veins, or your whatever your strategy website or resource of choice is, and look it up and explain it. And he's gonna fail it the first time, and he's gonna fail it the second time, and he kind of got the hang of it the third time. Why put yourself through that trouble? Don't be the person that says, well, she doesn't want to pick up ads and I have an easy time picking up ads, so we should always do this for Anub'arak. Because what happens if I'm not there? What happens? It's a definite possibility. Things break, people quit, people leave, people get sick, people can't log in. And you're putting yourself in a shitty spot by letting things line up like that. So hopefully you guys like what I'm saying here. Hopefully you agree. If you don't, definitely let me know in the comment section below. How would you guys handle this situation? Would you do what I did, and until you are comfortable with it, you're going to do it? Or would you say, look, I understand you're uncomfortable with it, so we will keep it to where it's easy for you and it's easy for me? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for making it all the way through this video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you.